Hi friends, it's Caitlin and welcome back to the Floating Rock podcast. I hope you're having the most incredible day ever. Hi, nice to see you guys again. If you follow me on my personal normal Instagram, actually no, I put it on Floating Rock as well. I announced something very, very exciting recently, and it is that I not only participated in a writer's fellowship here in Hawaii, but I actually won their Greenlight Award, getting the opportunity to produce the script that I submitted and got notes on and then later pitched. So I kind of thought, wow, this is a big thing for me in my life. And I was like, I should probably talk about it on the pod. Hello. And I don't know about you, but like personally, I feel like I forget to talk about the big things in my life. And I don't know, I feel like sometimes I forget to tell the pod what I'm up to because, you know, I'm kind of looking in that corner of self-growth and whatever and what I normally talk about. But I'm like, okay, why not talk about this? Because you guys might find it interesting. And that's the thing too, sometimes I think film in my head is like kind of niche, but I don't know. I like people who have like niche things that they talk about. And like maybe you're into this niche or maybe you just think, oh, that's different, fun, and interesting. I'd love to hear about it. So yeah, that's what we're talking about today. And I hope you find it interesting, maybe if you're in film or if you're not or anything like that. Yeah. On that note too, actually, I want to make an episode about social media soon, but literally I felt so fucking loud that day, bitch. I was like, get off of my screen, get off of your story, get off of your fucking grid. I don't know why that day I felt like loud as boisterous. I felt boisterous as fuck the day that got announced and stuff. Like to the point where I was like, should I even post about it? I was like, come on, have your day in the sun, bitch. Come on. But after yet again another conversation with Malia, I thought you guys would enjoy this too. And I probably will say it again on my social media episode. You're literally only like 3 seconds of someone's day. Like whenever I scroll through people's stuff, like generally they're only spending like 3 seconds with you. So like whatever you're posting, even if it's literally your wedding, a lot of people are just like looking at it for 3 seconds. And if it's 3 posts in a row, 9 seconds total, you know what I mean? So like, I feel like we're not as loud as we think we are, for better or for worse sometimes. But anyway, on to the whole thing. So the fellowship I participated in was called Ohina Labs, if you will. It's a writer-director fellowship, and now they do producers too. And it's based here in Hawaii. And what's really cool about that is there's a lot of writers fellowships when it comes to TV, like screenwriting, I guess, if you will, and like creative writing, I'm assuming too, like book type stuff, journalism stuff. I feel like the creative industries have a lot of fellowships and stuff like that. But what I think is really cool about Ohina is it's so rooted in people from Hawaii and like stories from Hawaii. And obviously that's rare because we're pretty freaking small and the film industry is very big and it's very loud. So that was probably like one of the coolest things for me was, you know, my whole goal in all of this is like to be able to do what I want to do from my home in Hawaii. And that's a long journey, but to be able to even like have the opportunity to do something film related here honestly is so fucking cool. Like maybe your industry isn't terribly related to your hometown or like related to where you're from, so you had to move somewhere else, or you've been told you have to move somewhere else. Like I feel like that's a huge thing when it comes to film and being from Hawaii. It's like, oh, I gotta be in LA. And so I don't know, just the opportunity to pursue and like, I guess, quote unquote, get into something here was like the coolest thing in the world. It felt like a step closer to like that bigger overarching goal. But I thought I'd pause here and be like, okay, what's a fellowship? Because after like explaining it to some people, I realized not everyone knows what a fellowship is. And I'm like, well, it's because like I be looking at that shit all the time, girl. So I'm like, well, maybe explain to the people who literally aren't spending all their hours doing that. And if you already know, sorry. And honestly, maybe I'm still butchering it. Who knows? In my head, a fellowship is kind of, at least in the writing world, film world maybe, is giving like a mentorship sort of program where you're a fellow. You're a young little fellow and you kind of go throughout your time with the program, usually developing your voice as a writer, voice as a director, getting notes on your script, iterating on your script. And a lot of the time too, at least a lot of the ones that I have been looking at or looked at, or this one usually has a lot of stuff to do with pitching as well, because pitching is such a big part of being a writer, being a creative, honestly, in general. And so there's also, I feel like, a lot of focus on your pitch, how to pitch, tips on pitching, as well as like who you are, because I'll get to it later, but you're not only pitching your story, you're not pitching your directorial vision, you're pitching yourself, girl. But yeah, back to Ohina. I don't know if I like did their full log line or they're like, like everyone has a mission statement, right? But yeah, their mission, to my knowledge, maybe I'm butchering it, is to like uplift early career like writer directors here in Hawaii, people whose voices, haven't quite been out there yet, giving them the opportunity to have mentorship, to have the opportunity to get, things like this, like the Greenlight Award, to actually get their script made, and also just to like build community and, be the organization that it is, and kind of, what is the word? Be a gathering place, people come back to it. So why I applied, right? I don't know, kind of fun. I have talked about this before, but I'll say it again because I think it's such a fun little story. End of my sophomore year was the beginning of the writer's strike. And I went to my marketing professor, who kind of made his whole marketing class actually about marketing yourself, made it all about LinkedIn, all about your resume. Love him. And I was like, hey, like all about networking and stuff. And I was like, hey, so my industry just went kaput, not fully, but I was like, what do I even do? And he was like, you just got the best blessing in the world. He's like, no one's working. They all have time to talk to you. And I was like, okay, sure. So I took that and ran with it. And I reached out to tons and tons of people and got them to talk with me on the phone, talk with me on Zoom, a few coffees here and there. But I ended up gravitating actually a lot towards writers and creatives that are from Hawaii, even though I was up in California. And something that kept happening is whenever I would talk to them, they'd always be like, oh, and are you going to apply to Ohina? Have you applied to Ohina? Ohina this, Ohina that. And I was like, oh, fun. Maybe I'll apply to Ohina. And it was always during, I think it was like November. So I was always in school. And so this is my first November back home. And I was like, well, it is my time to shine. So I applied. And that's kind of the story of that, is everyone just kind of kept recommending it to me. And maybe that's a sign too, like when there are things that just keep smacking you in the face, maybe you should catch them and do something about it. Oh my God, wait. And I also really like this story, guys. So my script, right? I obviously had to get in with something. I had this idea, and when I had heard about Ohina, all I knew was I had to write a script that could be shot here in Hawaii and, to my knowledge, be producible. And I'm going to say something right here, right now. Thank you, Chapman University Television Writing and Production, because I genuinely do not think I could have done this or even like gotten this award without that education freshly under my belt, because my whole senior year was all about writing producible scripts. And I don't know, I just felt like I was like, yes, like I know exactly what I'm doing right now. So I went into it with something in my notes app, and I guess I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my pitch, honestly, and this will be a lot of fun. So I'm from Kaneohe, and every summer it's lychee season here in Hawaii. And in Kaneohe, there are a bunch of lychee stands. There's some on the way to the North Shore, and then some, not everyone knows where this everything is, but there are always these 2 lychee stands on like opposite sides of the road every year. And ever since I was a kid, I noticed them, and I kind of was like always wondering, like, are they like competing? Do they know each other? Like, because it's like family run businesses. It's people who, had relatives fly in lychee from Hilo, or people who have trees themselves, I'm assuming. And so I just was always wondering, I'm like, are we chill with each other or are we not? And so I did a little bit of research, and I looked into kind of like what lychee represents. I feel like shit represents shit all the damn time. And so I found out in Chinese culture, heyo, that lychee actually like represents love. And I was like, ooh, very interesting. So I was like, I'm going to write this lychee stand love story. And so I opened Final Draft and started writing, and I realized I'm not very good at writing romance. Fun fact about me, everybody, I am not a hopeless romantic, really. Like, I'm not the biggest romantic in the world. You could probably tell that about me, honestly. So I ran into a wall. I was like, oh, that's just not going to work now, is it? So I scrapped it. And big lesson I learned from that, which you might, especially if you're a creative, want to take with you. Sometimes the art wants to come out the way it needs to come out, and it's just not the way you want it to be sometimes. I thought I was going to do something fun and different and maybe a little higher brow. Nah, I don't ever do anything terribly highbrow, but I just kind of thought like it was going to be this one thing. But then I threw all of my expectations away, and I just put my hands to the keyboard and was like, something's gonna happen, and there are 2 lychee stands, and something's gonna happen about it. And it started writing itself. And I just listen to the voices. That's kind of my approach to writing sometimes, is I listen to the voices, they make everything happen. And that might sound insane to you, but that's just how it works in my brain. So basically, the way it came out of my brain, the story of 2 lychee stands was a mockumentary comedy about 2 family-run lychee stands, and they've been running them for decades on decades. It's this passed down family feud, and it's this grandpa and his 2 grandkids and a mom and her 2 kids. And if you don't know what a mockumentary is, think like The Office, where they do those like interviews straight to the camera. And what I love about that, and what I realized I loved about that through doing this fellowship, answering questions, was I love how honest and real kind of a mockumentary is. And like, people will say it's been done before. Yes, it's been done before, and maybe a little overdone. Oh my god, hi, editing Caitlin here. No, it's not a mockumentary, it's a love-you-mentary. That was a note I got. It was like, mocking sounds like you're mocking it. It's like, no. Like it's full of love. Like, I'm not mocking anything. It's a love-you-mentary. Thank you. But it was really calling my name, honestly, and I just kind of felt like I had to do it. And I like how, I don't know, especially with local characters like these Kaneoheans that I have starring in this story, I've never seen characters like that talk directly to the camera before. These people that, like, I grew up around, and many other people here in Hawaii, like these kind of characters that feel very familiar, I've never seen someone like them just talk straight to the camera and like give it to me. And I kind of liked the feeling of that, and like I liked them getting to be real and just themselves and showing us that straight to our faces, almost like getting to be inside of their heads too. So basically, my story is about these 2 feuding lychee stands, and throughout the script they're kind of pulling these different antics and sabotaging each other. And something funny actually ends up happening is I have these 2 teenage characters. I have the grandson from the grandpa, and I have the daughter from the mom. They're both 17 years old. And what I thought was actually so funny is it ends up being a little bit of a lychee love story, and I didn't mean for that to happen, but when I finished writing, I was like, oh my god, and I did what I originally set out to do, but in a different way than I thought it would be. But anyway, to finish telling you guys about it, they're sabotaging each other. It's tons of fun, crazy shit. It's so silly and stupid, honestly. But then these influencers come in with this lychee food truck, and they start to take all of the locals' business, and that sucks, and that happens here in Hawaii quite a lot, of these people coming in, claiming Hawaii kind of as their own and profiting off of it, right? Honestly, happens in a lot of places in the world. And basically, they try to do that, but eventually the kids are able to convince the adults that they have to work together, and there's only one way to take down these influencers, and it's by joining stands. So they do it. The locals win, the influencers leave, and people finally shop local. Wow, wait, this is so funny. Like, literally parts of my pitch are coming out right now. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's like me keeping it short and simple, if you will, just in case. So anyway, I think that gives you a good overview of kind of what I did. The first day of the fellowship was all mentorship. It was all getting notes on our scripts, getting notes about pitching and all that kind of gorgeous stuff. And the second day was our pitches. And it was just like balls to the wall, get her done, practice the whole week, put that shit together, hope for the best. And yeah, I guess I'd kind of just tell you guys too, like, how I feel about this script, because I also forget to talk about that. And yeah, it's basically a story that I made up. Yes, I don't know these people, but it's kind of a compilation, if you will, an ensemble piece about all of the Kaneoheans that are or have been a part of my life. It's a mix of people from dance teammates, karate teammates, gym characters, coffee shop regulars, to aunties, uncles, cousins, grandparents. Like, it's this big hodgepodge, and no one character represents just one person, but they're all these just mixtures of people that I know and have grown up with and have never seen on a screen before. And the way I worded it in my pitches, it is this love letter to Kaneohe, but it really is, and I really hope that in the producing of it, it really feels like that. I want it to be lush, and I want it to be green, and I want it to be full of love and aloha and kindness and fun. And I feel like that's one thing too that I feel like especially happens here in Hawaii is we kind of hold on to these dramatic stories and these documentaries, but I'm like, the thing about Hawaii is like, we're hilarious. Like, the people here are so funny, and I feel like humor is so rooted also in local culture that I'm kind of surprised that there hasn't been more local comedy here. And honestly, once again, probably same in a lot of different places in the world too, or communities where it's like, you know, maybe some stories are being told, but it's like, but why aren't they funny when humor is such a rooted thing in everyday life and in so many cultures? And I kind of just love the idea of getting to hang out, being able to watch this war, if you will, and see these people kind of be pitted against each other in a way, and a lot of the ways that I feel like some, especially when it comes to local businesses, can be pitted against each other and be in competition. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, we are all a community, and I feel like I've really felt that in the filmmaking community as well. It's like, yes, people have the same talents as you, they want the same jobs as you maybe, but at the end of the day, the more that you pour into that community, everyone else will be lifted up. What is that one metaphor? It's like, everyone can climb higher if we just keep pushing up our neighbor, you know, like, you're gonna get so much further, and by helping people, you also get further. And there are so many themes that are a part of Shop Local, but that is definitely a big one for me, is the idea that working together and uplifting each other as part of a community, like the film community, art community, entrepreneurship community, anything like that, or just community of a town, you really can, everyone can be way higher up if we uplift each other. Oh, and I guess that was like one of the other things I talked about in my pitch too, was I wanted to show a story of locals winning, and locals winning against the influencers who are coming in and all of that stuff. And I love the idea of seeing these normal people just like freaking get to win for once, you know? Yeah, like I said, lots and lots of themes here, but I don't know. Realistically, it's just a really fun story that I'm so excited to be telling so soon. So I thought I would share just a few more of my takeaways with you guys. Number one, the funniest thing about things like this, and honestly a lot of classes you take, experiences you have, your biggest takeaway is usually never in the lesson plan. And I kind of love that. I think some of my most impactful classes I've ever had at school, in college, whatever, have been ones that I take away something far different than like what was actually on the syllabus, you know? But that big takeaway from Ohina was not how to write a better script, not how to pitch. I mean, a little bit of both, actually. That was pretty helpful. But biggest thing actually kind of was community. I really felt this overwhelming sense of community. Being there, out of there now, I was like, whoa. And I don't know if they kind of intentionally mean to do that to you, or if it was fully unintentional and that's just how it is. But I really did feel, let me start with the fellows, like the 10 other people I was in there, 9 other people I was in there with, 13 other people, doesn't matter. Okay. They were some of the kindest, most supportive people ever. And I was like so like surprised. I was like, wait, this is so crazy. Cause I feel like the Hawaii film community is very small. So I kind of was surprised. I'd never really heard of any of them before. So I was like, wait, who are y'all? Like what? But genuinely, some of the kindest people ever. Like they were so sweet, so supportive, so creative and genius, and had incredible stories that I really do want to watch be made, because I was like, wait, like we got to make this happen. Hello. And I mean, this with like probably a lot of programs like this, like everything that goes in there is good. And like, I hope that we can see as much of it made as possible, right? But it was so cool to like get to know them and get to know their stories and like see what they do day to day. And I feel like my time at home has been, when it is film related, been on set. And on set, there's a lot of production people, or at least the people I've talked to haven't expressed interest in writing. And so honestly, the people I've talked to writing wise, I feel like are a lot of either my classmates back at school, or were a lot of like sort of reach ups and people who are further along than me. And so obviously some of these people were further along than me because I freaking just graduated, but it was so cool to like get to talk to other writers for not the first time, but you know, that was a really new experience for me to be surrounded by people who were writers and kind of have the same dream as me. And it was like so awesome. And yeah, honestly, I just cannot stress again, like how supportive and kind that they all were. And I don't know, it was just cool. And I feel like it inspired me to like meet more people that I have that in common with, and surprising them, like, how have I not done that more? I don't know. And then also just the whole team there at Ohina, like such kind people, such supportive people. who really have like great hearts and just such an incredible mission. Like that's just such an awesome thing to want to do, to like uplift these voices that aren't necessarily being heard. And the most recent one honestly has been, after posting about it, the social media of it all, how kind of all of it has come together, and these people that I have met on sets and these people that I've met at these other things, at events, everyone's kind of come together and be like, oh my god, congrats, this and that. I'm like, whoa, this was like one of the first, if not the biggest times that I have felt connected to Hawaii's film community, because I'm like, I feel like we all know about Ohina, and so seeing that connection kind of happen was like kind of insane to me, and be like, wow, like, and this person I worked on that thing actually knows that person and knows about Ohina and this and that. And then other people, like new people following me, new people that I'm following who are also in the community who I also didn't even know. And I'm like, wait, so much abundance. I'm loving it so much. And it's just like making me so excited that there is so much, like, once again, the word abundance, so it's such an abundance of community, and of not only that, but just incredible people. Like everyone, honestly, that I have met in my time home. How long have I been home for? I've been home for 6 months. Oh, I'm not okay with that. Well, I'm gonna go deal with that later, but I've been home for 6 months and loosely participating in Hawaii's film industry for those 6 months. And I've met some like awesome people. It's just such a special community, and there's such incredible people who so creative, so genius, deserving of work, honestly. Oh, and I forgot to add, Ohina actually in Hawaiian means like gathering or like collecting. So I don't know, it kind of all ties together well. And I don't know if I really got that across well, but biggest feeling I feel like I'm leaving Ohina with is a sense of community and feeling more connected with the people I was there with. And not only that, but just the people who I'm going to connect with, and Hawaii's film community in general. And I'm like so grateful for that feeling. On a completely different note, actually more back to the mentoring and the pitching, one of my favorite pieces of advice from the fellowship was no one cares. And if you were there, or if you have heard this before, whatever, but maybe it's a fun reminder. When you're pitching, when you're writing something, when you're kind of doing anything, especially in an entrepreneurial, self-motivated sense, it sounds pessimistic to say no one cares, but that is like one of the most motivating things, because you're actually able to make people care, and you will make them care. Because I sat there and I watched 9 other writing fellows make me care about their stories, and that is no easy task, but they all did it. And I don't know, I kind of love that idea of, yeah, that is true. A lot of people, you walk into a pitch, they don't care. And it's not that they'll never care, it's just that you have to make them care. And whether it's your business, your music, anything that kind of you're putting out, it's not that people will never care, it's just that you have to make them care. And not only that, but it is possible to make them care. And the best way to show people that they should care is to show how damn much you fucking care about your shit. Swear again, Caitlin, Jesus. But yeah, I really liked that, and I wish I had heard that maybe before I pitched, but honestly, I was like, yay, cute, whatever. But yeah, that was like my favorite kind of piece of advice, and like just a good reminder whenever you walk into a pitch room, or whenever you're pitching yourself just in an elevator to anybody, or your business venture, like I said, anything that you're kind of putting out, you can make people care, and they will. And lastly, hopefully I don't miss on this one, but the announcement for the fellowship comes out, and I am one of 2 girls, and I am the youngest person there. And that feels super cute, right? But not to say it's a little discouraging, but I don't know. The feeling I get when I think about the demographic I represented is not one that people really trust very much. And, that's why I feel like winning felt like such a big surprise, and felt almost even more amountful to me, because I kind of went into it being like, damn, like there's no way they would give me money to make my film, like put the 22-year-old in charge, like are you kidding me? And I don't know, I feel like there have been instances that I've either heard about or that I've experienced myself where being the youngest female in the room is not something to brag about and is not something to be like, yup, slay, it's a little bit more of like a right, so that was probably one of the biggest cool takeaways, I guess, for me, was the girls can do it. The 20-somethings, just the young girls can do it. And I feel like, honestly, it kind of speaks to my to my younger self. When I was a kid, I like wanted to be an inventor and I wanted to be an artist. Guys, I'm so bad at art. But I had all these really, really, really big dreams when I was a kid. Not necessarily to write TV shows, I'm not gonna lie. And I just felt like I really resonated with being a kid, honestly, and being like I really was like, kids can win. Kids can do anything adults can do, and like blah, blah, blah. And I feel like this happening really like not healed that inner child, because she wasn't necessarily hurt, but it really like fed her, I feel like, and like showed that like just because you are the youngest in the room, just because you're a girl, does not mean that that is a bad thing. And I feel like a lot of the time the world tries to tell you that that is a bad thing, and that like the overwhelming word that I think of when I think of the demographic I represented was not trustworthy. You know, even me, if I walked into a room and was like, okay, tell someone to make a film, I don't think I'd turn to me, you know, because stereotypes, hello. So I don't know, I took that away, was that the girls can win, and that was really encouraging. And just, I don't know, if you're one of the girls, that we can win and you can do shit and it's totally possible. And not only that, but it kind of flipped a switch in my brain, because everybody at this fellowship was very different. I didn't feel like there was two of the same person at all. And it just made me think, because they're all incredible and their stories were great and they're all such great individuals, that like I could see a world where like all of them win, or any of them win, or anything like that. And their demographic, I guess, if you will, how they come off, how they present to the world, is their strength. And like, I don't know, and like, just like run with me here, this is more of just like an idea, but I like the idea that like these things that maybe you think would limit you are actually a strength in a way. And like the fact that, I guess more so to its root, it's like the fact that you are who you are is your strength, and that's it. That is what's so great about you. And like honestly, like the biggest takeaway from this as well was, you're not pitching your story. I mean, you are pitching your story, but you're pitching yourself. Like that is the biggest thing, is you are pitching yourself. Because at the end of the day, who are they talking to about this project? Who are they trusting? It's you. It's not the people on the page, right? And it's not the lyrics. They're trusting you. It's not the art on the canvas. It's you, right? You're pitching you. And I don't know, I just love the idea that anything about you, no matter who you are, no matter how different it is from the people who are in the room as you, I just really like the idea that exactly who you are is your strength, and it's not you trying to be something else. And I'm just like, yeah, it's not you thinking that you should be something else and trying to be that. It's just you being exactly who you are. Like, I loved how specific some of these stories were, and how I was like, yes, and you're the only one who should be telling this like this, because like this is so personal to you, and the story is so you, and it makes so much sense. I don't know if this was my most eloquent episode. Apologies. And honestly, like the thing that's coursing through my veins right now is guilt, because I don't know, it feels weird to be talking about a dub, I'm not gonna lie, but I thought, okay, the best thing to do is be honest and to trust the elephant in the room, right? And you know, let yourself have your day in the sun. And maybe that's what you take away from this episode too, is you're allowed to win, and you're allowed to tell people that you have succeeded in your life, because why would you try for something to succeed to not like tell the people in your life about it? You know, like, I don't know, that's just like me being real right now. Like, it feels weird to be talking about this, and maybe I am coming off horribly braggy, I don't know, but yeah, I am very, very, very extremely grateful and surprised and floored that I even got into this fellowship and then left it with the support to make my film. It's kind of the most insane thing ever, and I'm so excited. And I feel like, on that note too, of the whole younger self thing I was talking about, you're like your child, what is that called, your inner child? It's funny to think about not your inner child, but your inner, maybe later in your life, because who I think needed this the most was my inner like sophomore in college. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I think sometimes there can be a lot of doubt as a writer. Maybe it's just me, because you know, you're writing for an audience. It's jokes that people have to laugh at, and so sometimes when you're all holed up just looking at your computer, you don't know how people are going to respond to it, and you know, you go a lot of your time like without knowing. And so knowing that something that I did was good is cool for me right now, 2025, but I think for her, 2022 Caitlin, I feel like needed this, and needed to know that like, no, you're doing something of substance, and you're good at it. And I feel like everyone deserves to feel like they're good at something, and I know that you're good at something for sure. And yeah, once again, I'm literally feeling the feeling again of like, oh, you should be talking about this. But no, we are being open, we're being honest, and you know, if you've been here the whole time, I want to bring you on this journey. And also, if you're just like someone in my life, and per the first thing I said on this pod, I forget to talk about the things in my life, and if you're like, finally, she's fucking talking about it, and I get to know more about this Ohina thing she did, here it is. And yeah, I'm so grateful to have you guys and to be able to share this with you guys. And I'm so excited to get started on this shit, to freaking like put the wheels on the ground and like make a freaking movie, and a movie that I'm really excited about, and that's about my hometown, and that's really cool. Yeah, I think it's my time to shut up, and yeah, more updates to come, I guess. Look out for Shop Local at a freaking movie theater near you next year. I don't know, guys, like I thought I'd share with you. Okay, stop backpedaling, Caitlin. Stop backpedaling. Shut up. Follow the pod at floating.rock.podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Rate in Spotify, please. I love you forever. What if I could get to 30 by the end of the year? 35 stars, please. But yeah, thank you again for being here and for all of the support. I love you so much. Yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm happy I have a place to talk about this.